You. Soul Eater.
Yes.
Your thoughts.
My thoughts.
Okay. So I'm gonna ask you like a series of questions just to see how you feel about Soul Eater. So, what was your overall like thoughts of the actual of the storyline that goes on? Like, what is like your favorite plot point that you go back to every single time you think about Soul Eater?
Oh, I really like when they find Excalibur. Or you know what? I kind of like when they find Ragnarok too. I like how it intertwines like actual historical aspects to it, and I think it's really cool that they just incorporate things that are actually historically accurate and make it fun and educational, but yet fun.
Right, gotcha. And so far, who would you say is like your favorite character on Soul Eater?
Crap, I forgot his name. Corona.
Corona?
Corona.
No,
not
How apt for that to
just
be your
Crona.
favorite character.
Just Corona.
What you trying to tell me?
Corona. Not Corona. It's just Corona.
Okay, all right. And why is that person your favorite character?
I'm a geek for the meek.
Oh, so you appreciate the underdog?
Yeah.
And is he like that type of character that just keeps fighting and fighting no matter what?
Like, he is literally like the most weak character in the entire show, but he is literally the most OG.
Is he the most OG? Mm-hmm. Okay, that's pretty sweet.
But he's like, I don't know if I should do this. It gives me anxiety.
Oh, okay, I got you. And that meekness just comes across. Does that speak to you personally?
I have a little bit.
A little bit?
He's very unconfrontational.
Okay, I got you. So, what do you think about like the art style of this show?
Oh, I love the art.
Do you?
This is my favorite art style other than like new age anime.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if any of you guys have seen like Golden Time or like SAO, that's what I would consider like new age anime.
Is that sword art online that you just said SAO? Mm-hmm. Isn't that like garbage? I'm sorry, I distracted you. Continue.
The story's garbage. The art's nice.
Okay, continue.
Yeah, so like I love the art style. I love how it looks like it's hand drawn. I love the if you are like into actual, not to say like actual art, but if you're into like
art criticism,
and if you know paintings, you can see that there's a bunch of like homages to like actual famous paintings and like mixed into the art style of this.
Oh, okay, that's pretty sweet. What's one that sticks out in your mind the most?
Starry Night. There's references to Starry Night.
Oh yeah, you're kind of right. Yeah,
multiple scenes, and then Night in the Park, or A Day in the Park is the name of that painting. There's also homages to A Day in the Park. There's also homages to, I forget what the name of this painting is, but it's like a street and there's lamps on either side, and it's fall. In the painting, it's a very famous painting, but there's also homages to that as well.
Okay, that sounds pretty sweet. That sounds like some pretty sweet stuff. So how does all of these aspects, right? Like, you have a really good story that's, we could say it's character driven, right?
Yeah. Mostly.
Really good character driven story, great art direction, right? What would you say about the voice acting?
You know what? For most voice acting, I like it. I'm not a big fan of for some odd reason, I'm not a big fan of most of the American dubbed voice acting. Not saying that I don't like dubs, but I'm just not a big fan of like the translation or the translation of the English. I'm not a big fan of it all the time.
It always seems like it gets worse.
勇敢ですね、皆さん。あら、何かそこに、どこ? You're such brave, strong, handsome men. Have you accepted Jesus as your personal savior?
No, I'm Jewish.
It's I don't know. There's just some things that sound weird in English that would sound completely normal in Japanese. Mm-hmm. So there's always that disconnect for me, but
Right, but it's not so bad.
It's better than most that I've seen. Like freaking Fairy Tail. I can't stand Fairy Tail dubbed.
Oh, really? Mm-hmm. Okay, so you have all these aspects. You have like this overall art direction, voice acting, the style of the show, the writing, the characters. What would you say is like the zenith of the show? Where does this show, all these things come together and hit perfectly?
Throughout the story, each character hits their own personal plot point at different times.
Oh, okay, so it really depends on whatever character you're connected closer to.
Yeah, it's not like a normal... Yeah, pretty much. So if you are into Stein, his story wraps up closer to the end of the thing. If you're into Soul, his story wraps up closer to the mid part. If you're into Maka's literally goes to the last episode. And like... It matter if you're into Star, you get his story closer to the beginning. You get his weapon. I totally forget what his weapon's name is. Mm-hmm. Shizzles. But she has her own story too. So it's not like I'll speak to something you like. It's not like Naruto where you only have that one character.
I mean, you have a bunch of characters on Naruto.
But you follow his story. Like, you get plots of different characters.
I'd say it's like My Hero Academia in that way.
Yeah.
We're all following Deku, but
we're all following Deku, and there's like sprinkles of other people's stories. But like in Soul Eater, it's different because it's not just Maka's story.
Right. There's no one central protagonist.
Yeah, I mean, like, technically it felt like it's Maka's story. Like, she's the main quote-unquote character, but she's not really. Because there's the opportunity to really fall in love with any of the characters. And this is definitely not it used to be my favorite anime because of that reason. Mm-hmm. I currently am undecided on my favorite. But yeah, honestly, for a good hot minute, this was my favorite anime for that reason. Is that, like, some days I'll really love Stein's story, and then other days I'll really love Death's story, and then other days I'll be like, wow, Soul's really speaking to me right now.
I don't want to sound reductive and ask what's the point, but I mean, what's like the driving like plot of the show?
I mean, technically there's arcs because they have like a villain they have to stop, but like the overall thing is just watching these kids grow into making weapons, grow into being master assassins, growing into people. Like, that's the overarching theme.
So their weapons are extensions of themselves, because they literally are weapons. So the stronger they become as people, the better weapons they become.
Actually, yes. So, in endpoints, I really like this anime. It used to be my favorite anime. Not gonna lie, it was top for like literally years, and I really liked it because of all those things, and I would rate it like a good 8. This would be an 8 anime for me.
I don't know what I'd rate this. I don't know how I feel about it. This is kind of some the thing is, I can't say it's bad because it's not bad, but the anime didn't really grab me, you know what I mean? Like,
I know, I guess, like, yeah, with anime, it kind of has to speak to you, because, like,
it's like an experience, man.
It's like an experience, man, because, like, some people could say that, One Piece is a better anime than Soul Eater.
Nobody says that. Alright, so would you recommend this anime?
I would, yeah. If you're younger, then I would say, like, 13, maybe not, but